to get your fix.
Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready to get your fix?
With the Wicks here on this beautiful Thursday, November 11th, 2021, and welcome to the show. First of all, happy Veterans Day to all those who have served out there. Appreciate it much. But let's get to football, huh, shall we? We had some pretty decent news, or bit of news, come out this morning revolving around Cam Newton and then OBJ later in the day. But we will get to that later, all right? Also today we are going to talk about the Thursday night matchup between the Baltimore Ravens, who are standing at 6-2, who are taking on and going over to take on the Miami Dolphins, who are sitting at 2-7, and I believe last in their division, which sucks because the Jets, I think, are our worst team. But hey, that's how the cookie crumbles, and that is the NFL currently this season. But before we get to all of that, ladies and gentlemen, we have a beautiful guest here with us today. Welcome with me, Y4. Thanks for coming. We're doing. How about yourself?
I'm doing all right.
Heck yeah. So as I broke to these guys, we had some news earlier today with Odell Beckham, and then before that was Cam Newton. So I think we should start right off the bat with Cam Newton. You know, last year he was with the New England Patriots, got a $1.5 million deal with them to play for one season, has a quarterback battle with Mac Jones earlier this season, ends up losing that battle. It looked like, or it seems to be, in what was a landslide decision, kind of. They kept him there, I think, too long when they kind of knew, I feel like, that Mac Jones was going to be their guy, and then all of a sudden Cam's done. We're like, all right, he's probably not going to go anywhere. Everyone has their quarterbacks kind of figured out. But then Sam Darnold decides, fuck it, let's get hurt a couple games. Let's prolong this thing a little bit longer. Well, he comes out, ends up fracturing his scapula, which I guess is the right shoulder behind the kind of like the shoulder blade, something like that. And he is currently out 4 to 6 weeks. Might be longer, obviously, with the rehab and stuff like that. So Carolina would have to roll with P.J. Walker. All right, they go out and they're like, fuck it. Let's go bring someone who's played here before, a guy who's the all-time leading receiving touchdown athlete there for them, the all-time passing touchdown leader for the Carolina Panthers. And they go out, they bring in Cam Newton, and hours after they sign him. Your initial thoughts of Cam Newton signing with the Carolina Panthers?
I like it. I mean, you don't got Sam Darnold, and even when they did have him, he was starting to look like the Adam Gase Sam Darnold. And, P.J. Walker, yeah, he might be good in spurts here and there, but I don't think that he's ready nor has the ability to be a consistent NFL quarterback. Undersized, his arm's a little bit weaker. I just don't think that. So, why not? Why wouldn't you bring him back? I think that could be the thing that sparks him back up again. Just coming back home, and that the fans are going to embrace him. He has a little bit of chemistry left over with DJ Moore. And, yeah, I think it could be a good thing for the Panthers.
Yeah, and I agree 100% with you on that, on the P.J. Walker situation. I think I said it today when I was at work or whatever. I was like, P.J. Walker is... he can go to the XFL, and he's going to be the superstar of the XFL. That's what he's going to... That's his league to own. Mm-hmm. Comes the NFL, it's a little bit harder to do. He's a good backup. That's what he is. He's going to come in there maybe late in games, maybe for 1 or 2 games like he has for the Carolina Panthers, and really try to keep him there, try to get him a win, try to get him, a little bit above the hump. But like you said, he's just not a starter in the NFL, and I don't see that. And they took that chance on Cam Newton. I like this signing, I really do. Obviously, they already, like you said, the fans embrace him. They already have on one of their big jumbotrons or fucking the video, whatever it is, outside the stadium saying he's back. already. Right after they signed him, they're like, he's back. This fan base is obviously thrived with Cam Newton in the past, where he had that MVP season. Made a couple playoff appearances, I think, something like that. And every time the Vikings I know played him, I mean, we lost. Every time I remember specifically going and staying at your place a while ago, and I think it was just me and you home at that time, and it was Panthers Vikes. We were at the Panthers, and it was Cam Newton, and I think that was his MVP season. He ends up fucking just destroying us that entire game. So he has some chemistry there in Carolina, but at the same time, it's like I'm pretty sure they have a different GM, and they obviously have a different head coach. So how do you think he's going to pair with? I believe it is Matt Rule over there for the Carolina Panthers. Do you think they're going to be just fine, or how
I think that they'll get it together. I think they'll probably talk with Cam a lot, probably communicate what some of the things that he liked when he was here. Probably him and DJ Moore, they'll go through some of the things that worked back in the past, and they'll incorporate it with Matt Rule's new offense that he's been running. And you kind of seen Sam Darnold, we started seeing him run a lot more under this offense, so it might be something that already can work for Cam Newton.
I think, 100%. You're definitely right. They're definitely going to ask him what he liked previously when he was in Carolina and stuff. But then at the same time, so he's not obviously going to play this week. They came out and already said PJ Walker's getting the start. It is Thursday, so I mean they play Sunday. That he obviously has to sit. I think he plays, or maybe they're on a bye week. Not 100% sure on that one. But what was I getting to here? I can't remember. But I think it's going to definitely work out. Oh, that's what I was getting to. So he plays next week. And I believe if he plays next week, they are playing against the Washington football team and Ron Rivera. So do they take some things that he had from the Ron Rivera era and still let him work it into the offense? I think they could, obviously, and use that trickery. But once I think Rivera figures that out, they might slow him down.
I mean, they're not going to use Rivera's whole game plan. Obviously, plays are going to cross over when that happens.
Little tweaks.
But you just got to know when they're going to do it, and that's going to be the tough part.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I also like this signing also because of the recent injury history, I guess, with Christian McCaffrey. That he had a hamstring injury, I think twice now this season or something like that. So they're gonna need some person or somebody to pick up a little bit more in the run game. Chuba Hubbard's done pretty solid, but I think Christian McCaffrey's actually back. He's active. He's going to play. I think he already played last week. I want to say.
He had 14 points.
Okay, not too bad. So yeah. This is a big signing for Carolina at the same time because they have the potential ability to make the playoffs this year. I think they're sitting at 4-4 or 4-5, somewhere right there, right even with the Atlanta Falcons. So I mean, they have a chance to make a playoff run. But I mean, obviously they got the Saints in that division who lost Jameis, so they might start decreasing. And then they got Tampa Bay, who's dealing with Antonio Brown, Rob Gronkowski kind of being hurt. But overall, I like this signing. It was kind of shocking at first, but at the same time, once I seen that they were bringing him in for a visit, I was like, well, that's all right. That's it. They're gonna sign him, basically.
Yeah, if it does work. So this week he's not playing. I could see him losing this week. But if it ends up working, they could win the next 3 games in a row.
Mm-hmm. And they're just going a little run there.
Opponents. Definitely can get the momentum moving if it works.
Oh yeah, and I hope it works because so this year his I guess his contract overall was a 1 year, so the rest of this year obviously, which is $10 million or up to $10 million. He has $4.5 million fully guaranteed, has a $1.5 million roster signing bonus. So he realistically makes about $6 million, where he has the chance to make up to $10 million with incentives and all that other nonsense. But it's a very, very good sign because, like John said, if they go on a little run and all of a sudden they're like, oh, Cam can actually continue to do this. He can continue to, help our team and improve our team. I think we're looking at another 2-3 year extension, maybe possibly after this season. Then we're in talks for where's Sam Darnold going? Like the Lions and backup, something like that. I mean, he gets shipped everywhere. Yeah, Texans are going to need somebody.
What if they still shoot for Sean?
They will too. They will. They're going to try to keep. I mean, he's good. He's pretty solid. But that was a pretty big signing, I'd say, today. But then, I think the bigger signing, we've all been waiting for this. About the last 2 days, I've had to talk about it. In the last 3 days, or probably the last week, I'd say he's been in pretty big discussion where he got excused from practice, released from the Cleveland Browns, clears waivers, going into his free agency for the first time in his career. He gets to choose where he potentially lands. Narrowed it down yesterday to 3 teams: the Chiefs, the Packers, and the Saints. And I think both of us kind of agree where the Packers seem to be the front runners to sign Odell. And then a little tweet this morning came out where basically the Rams tried signing this wide receiver off of waivers or something like that. Were unable to sign him. He ends up signing with a different team who had the first priority in the waiver wire. So I instantly seen that, sent it to not only Y4, I sent it to Logan Baumgart, another host here on Fantasy Football Friday, which we'll be doing tomorrow. But I said, what if the Rams are potentially interested in signing Odell? Not thinking anything of it. And then hours go by, and the Los Angeles Rams decide to sign Odell Beckham Jr. Your initial thoughts on Odell to the Rams?
I think it'll work well. Stafford, that's a team that's going to pass the ball a lot. And, yeah, he might not be the one. Might not even be the 2. But in that offense, when you're passing that much, Woods is on the sideline for a down, and you got Odell open in the middle. Let's say he has 3-4 receptions a game. 2 of them are over 20 yards. He could have a 100-yard game here and there and be a really big part of that team, especially come playoff time. Just having that more depth there and another threat on the field. If you got all 3 of them out there, Woods, Kupp,
Van Jefferson, Tyler Higbee,
and Odell out there all at the same time, good luck.
Yeah, that's going to be tough.
And especially with Stafford throwing the ball. He's going to hit his guy almost every time.
Yeah, I think you hit it right on the nuts there with that one because, they have an unreal amount of depth there. Van Jefferson showed what he can do. Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp, we obviously know what the hell they are all about. Cooper Kupp's leading NFL in receiving yards currently this year. I believe maybe receiving touchdowns, not 100% on that, but I know receiving yards. I think he's right there. So, and then you add OBJ to the mix. It's going to be interesting. I think this actually gives him a chance to try to be the old Odell that he was, but it's like I mentioned this before the show where he's going to go to the Los Angeles Rams and he's going to get single coverage. He's going to feed all day or just feast off that. He's going to, have a lot of catches, have a lot of success, or could have a lot of success, but you look at the Cleveland Browns situation, it was Jarvis, Odell, and then Anthony Schwartz or Donovan Peoples-Jones. He was still technically single man for most of that unless Jarvis was hurt. Then you're obviously going to go and double Odell Beckham. But when Jarvis was there, it was like, well, Odell still just can't catch the fucking ball.
And I don't know how much truth there is to this, but they said 76% of the downs that he was playing, he was just running his own routes.
Yeah, you mentioned that. Yep.
That's something that you can only do when the quarterback's on the same page as you, and obviously it wasn't working.
And they've been together, 3? That would have been this would have been his third year together. So Baker's rookie year, and then last year, and then this year.
I think so.
Yeah, you can't do that, especially the rookie quarterback right off the gate or bat. Yeah, it's tough to run your own routes unless, like you said, unless you're an Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams.
Yep.
That's how I think you compared that last time where, Adams can run his own fucking route because Rodgers knows, all right, well, just throw it to him when he's open, basically, not
he
rush
knows he's
it.
going there. He just needs to know if he's going inside or out.
Exactly. And it's hard to be on the same page when you really don't have that chemistry, when things aren't going right, and then your dad just fucking says, well, he doesn't throw my son the ball. But you showed me where he was, the number 1 targeted receiver when on the field? Out of all of them, he was the number 1 targeted receiver when on the field. So that says something. Right? That's a red flag right off the bat. And I think I even mentioned it the other day, too, where, there was that one game where he tried to do the one-handed catch again right next to the end zone. He was wide open. All he needed to do was catch the ball, and he didn't even fully extend his arm like this. He kind of was right here, trying to catch the ball, missed it, dropped it, whatever. And I think he was trying to get back to the Odell of old. It's like, dude, play football. Just go out there and play your style of football. Go have fun. Don't try to do anything explosive. Just fundamentals. Go right back to your fundamentals. Catch the ball. Start. And I think he's going to get that with the Rams Because obviously, I think, what was it? I think Logan said this, that 2 years ago he actually tried going to the Rams as well, and it didn't quite work out for some odd reason. So I think he's finally happy where he's at. He's going to have a fun time, and he's with a Super Bowl contender or a playoff contender for sure. So that's even bigger for Odell, and he probably will play this week if I had to guess.
Yeah, I think he'll definitely get some downs in at least, and I think this could end up being for the long haul for him if it works as far as the team goes. But for him, I mean, LA seems like a perfect fit for a guy like Odell.
Yeah, it does. Someone who's can handle, being in the spotlight. Something like when he was in New York, when he had all those spectacular plays. But it's going to be really interesting to see what he does with the Rams. I mean, the Rams they're all in this season. If it's not this year, it's never. I feel like, they'll obviously have a chance, but going to get Von Miller and then going to get Odell Beckham, and it's like, all right, this team and Matthew Stafford this year, this team is ready to win, and they're ready to win now. It sucks they lost Cam Akers, because I feel like that offense with Cam Akers, that would be even more dangerous. Because right now, Darrell Henderson's their running back. He's doing just fine, but I think maybe with Cam Akers, you might get a little bit more. Sucks that he tore his Achilles, but this is a big, big signing, because the Rams were one of those teams that were really unexpected. They had $2.3 million left in cap space, really had no room to do anything, and who knows what Odell was thinking, like, do I get a bigger contract, because he could, or what it was. But I think, what was it, on the Pat McAfee show, where AJ said, he's like, well, they signed him, or he got that $4.25 million parting bonus, so he already has that, so no team's going to go out there and give him a lot more, like millions and millions of dollars. You're just going to give him that veteran minimum, or the free agent minimum, if you will. So it's a big deal. It is only a 1-year deal, obviously, for the Rams the rest of the season. Then extension talks can happen after that, and he can go sign with a different team maybe, or possibly after that. But Odell finally has a new home, and I think it's a pretty good one. He's in the NFC once again, where he belongs, I feel like. We've been talking about it for quite some time, how the Browns and Odell just haven't clicked on all cylinders, and it makes sense that when he runs his own routes and really not on the same page with anybody, and all these drops, it's like, well, I think it was very apparent that it was Jarvis's team over there. In the wide receiver position, that was Jarvis's spotlight over there.
Yeah, he looks a lot better than Odell did.
Oh yeah. Every time he was on the field, and he even played a couple times where he was hurt just a little bit, and was still making catches that you were like, well, how?
It's kind of like there's a certain vibe in Cleveland, like that underdog, grind it out, and that's
no one really
just
talks about you kind of thing.
That's not Odell. But Jarvis, before he even went to Cleveland, when he was in Miami, he was an underrated wide receiver. Like, everyone talked about the Odell catch. He had a catch while he was on Miami. That was just as impressive, if not more impressive. Like, it was an incredible catch, but he's never been the guy that's talked about, and that's why he's the number one.
And do you think that's possibly because Odell and Jarvis played in high school together? They played at LSU together. So now that they're in the NFL, I feel like Odell's always took that shine away from
that could be.
So,
and personalities mean a lot too. You never saw Jarvis fighting the net, closing the net. Jarvis has always had his head on straight.
He's like, oh, next play, I dropped the last one. I'm pissed.
Yep.
Fuck. Well, all right, let's go to the next one. Because, there's every team has about at least 40 plays, maybe, on offense, depending, maybe 30 plays, I guess, depending on how the game goes. But it'll be interesting to see how Odell fits in with that Rams team. I think they're going to do fine. I think I've seen a stat also where, how Odell wanted the quarterback situation to be perfect. He wanted the money-wise to be perfect and stuff like that. And he wanted to have the offense to be perfect. Well, obviously the quarterback situation with the Rams, perfect. It's Matthew fucking Stafford. Yeah. He's proven his worth, I think, with a shitty Lions team that he took to the playoffs once, lost. And so that situation's good. But the Rams also pass 65% of the time. So the ball is consistently in the air, constantly in the air for any receiver, and whether that's Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, Van Jefferson, Matthew Stafford's going to find you. That's just inevitable. That's going to happen. any given Sunday, Monday, or Thursday, basically. But, and what was it? You also talked about earlier about Matthew Stafford. You know, he's only been to one playoff game. If this team's playoff ready, do you trust Matthew Stafford to bring you to that Super Bowl?
I don't know.
That's a tough question.
He hasn't showed much in there. And he
Yeah.
hasn't had many opportunities to go, so it would be one thing if he went there all the time and lost every time he was in the playoffs.
So we got a good
But-
look at him then.
Yeah. But it's also having that experience in the playoffs could mean a lot too, even if you are losing in the playoffs. So I don't know, I guess we'll find out. I mean, he'll be there this year and most likely for years to come.
Well, yeah, I think, yeah, for sure we'll figure it out like this year, but I think it goes, like you said, it all depends, I think, on the team you have too that you brought there and stuff. Like, I think that team he brought there with the Lions only had Megatron.
Yeah.
Basically, I mean, you're gonna put up points left and right when you have the guy getting triple coverage and he's still coming.
Yeah, they used to talk about it like we should be winning games because this is too easy.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember you saying that. So,
But, you know, even though Stafford hasn't been to the playoffs, there's a lot of guys on that team that has.
yeah.
So
I mean, they went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
A lot of the Aaron Donald's been to a Super Bowl. Jalen
So-
Ramsey's been to an AFC Championship game before. So that defense is.
So there is
good.
playoff experience in the room for sure.
Oh yeah, and I think that's gonna play a huge factor. And I mean, as tough it is to like, would you trust Matthew Stafford? I mean, you can to a certain extent because obviously we haven't got to see his experience in the playoffs, but I think he's ready. Obviously, I mean, somebody who's waited that long.
He's a
You know,
veteran quarterback too.
right? That long to go to, and that's like not even just the Super Bowl, the playoffs. Like he's only been once. You put him there again, he's not going to take that moment
he's
for
on
granted. He's going to go out there and he's going to ball out and have, hopefully, a heyday, and hopefully nothing else goes wrong for him. But I think that'll be interesting to see how the Rams season finishes with OBJ on the roster. Do they like dish it out differently? And if they do, how does that affect the outcome of the game? Could they have done things different and stuff like that? But I guess we're gonna find out though for sure, because the reason I say I'd expect Odell to play this week is because if it was a Sunday night game or a Sunday game in general, that's just, I mean, it's Thursday, Friday, and that's it. Basically, day where they play Monday Night Football, who are the 7-2 Rams taking on the 4-5 or 3-5 San Francisco 49ers. And that's going to be a fun game. That's going to be a real fun game. Two California teams going at it. And it sucks.
Is Jimmy still playing in it?
Yeah, he will. Yeah, Jimmy's going to, I think, take the reins there. I don't think, even in my opinion, I think, yeah, Jimmy's doing good. I don't think Trey Lance is quite ready. Like, he has the ability and the potential, but
They might even sign Jimmy again if he stays healthy.
you could, depending on how much would he cost. And do they want to boost something else up? You know, like, do they want to get another wide receiver? Stick with Trey Lance. He got all those experience, but at the same time, yeah.
Jimmy will go to Texans.
Yeah, Jimmy, he's not going. Nah, my God. Whoever goes to the Texans, good luck. Like, they're so screwed. They have no money. Deshaun Watson's basically giving them the middle finger until the civil case is all
Man,
set
I
and
don't
all.
want that to be solved just so I can figure out if we could stop talking about him. Or...
Yeah, so yeah, like we have no clue. We probably won't hear anything until the off season. Obviously, like, 'cause that's when they said they're gonna wait until after this year to really dive in and figure out all that shit out for them. But that'll be interesting. So now we're gonna get to, after those signings of Cam Newton to Carolina, Odell Beckham Jr. to the Los Angeles Rams. Let's talk about tonight's game, tonight's matchup, Thursday night football primetime game between the 6-2 Baltimore Ravens and the 2-7 Miami Dolphins. Now the Ravens are coming off a huge win against the Minnesota Vikings. They were down 14 points at half. I believe it was 24-10. Came out of nowhere, sent it 31-31, going to OT, I believe it was. And they kicked game-winning field goal. The rest is history. Fucking Vikings. Bullshit. But they also did lose before the bye week, and I think the bye week is a good place to always reset for teams. They lost to the Cincinnati Bengals. They absolutely got shit on by the Bengals the week before the bye, and now they come out and win. But they're facing a pretty shitty Dolphins team, okay? Because they were on a 7-game losing streak. They won their first game, and then they lost 7 fucking more right in a row. And then they beat the Texans, obviously, last week 17-9 in a fucking shootout of a game. But, I mean, I think basically for this game to go right, I guess for the Baltimore Ravens, you got to get Lamar going. I think that's been the formula the whole season. Get Lamar rolling early and often. Don't let off the gas. Keep pushing it, because I feel like against the Vikes, and actually quite a few games this year where we've seen him make comebacks, it's like right off the bat, they're kind of skeptical on doing a lot of things. Like you see more read options later in the game. You see him scrambling more. Like as the game gets going, I think he's kind of getting that rust off his feet a little bit, kind of those initial nerves off the. But you have to get Lamar going early and separate this game right off the bat. What would you think for Baltimore?
Yeah, I see a lot of that. I think that as long as they stick to their game plan and stick to what they've been doing, they should have no problems winning this game. Just don't make mistakes. Don't give them the opportunity to get more possessions with the ball. I don't think Miami's going to have a good day on offense. I don't think that there's going to be a lot of pressure on Lamar Jackson at all. I think it should be a pretty good win for him.
And with you saying that you don't think Miami's offense is going to do much, I agree 100% with that, because Jacoby Brissett is making his second straight start for the Dolphins, because that guy right fucking there has some injury issues, always has and always will. It sucks for him. I think his time may be coming to a close. Hopefully not. Obviously, we don't wish that upon anybody, but my key for the Dolphins to win this game is their defense. Their defense has to play phenomenal football, because we've seen their defense in the past do really, really good things, and they come out on top usually when that happens. As long as your offense scores 14 to 21 points, you should be good as long as their defense. Xavier Howard's not really playing that well. Byron Jones is not playing that well. They really don't. Van Ginkel or Van Geikel, whatever his name is, that linebacker isn't playing worth a damn.
No team chemistry on the Dolphins.
Yeah, and it's really weird because last year we've seen them have a little bit of chemistry.
They were pretty good last year.
Yeah, they were really, really solid. But I think, and that goes hand in hand with why I picked the Ravens to have. You have to get Lamar going. But like I said on True Identity Tuesday with the Baltimore Ravens, is if you stop Lamar, you stop the Ravens. And I think that's a big, a key thing in this game for the Dolphins to do, and their defense has to stop Lamar. If you don't stop Lamar, you have to at least stop him in the run game, and I think the Vikings did that real quick early on and then kind of let it slip away, where they were not allowing Lamar to run the ball, not allowing him to make these big plays and get loose and cause chaos.
I feel like we're to the point now, though, where Lamar is one of those players. He just can't stop.
He just keeps going. He'll find a way.
There's every once in a while you get players like that in the NFL, and he might be one of them. No matter what your game plan is, no matter how you watch it, he's just physically able to do more than everyone else on the field.
He never gets tired.
He doesn't get tired. He's faster than everyone else. He's faster on field than what it looks like on tape. And what's crazy is it's been like this his whole life.
Mm-hmm.
And he took it to the NFL. A lot of times you see him do that their whole life, get to the NFL. All right, now the competition's evened up. But for him, he's still playing like that. And he's been staying healthy, which everyone's concern was, how is he going to stay healthy? How is he going to stay healthy?
And all those videos of him doing the crate challenge,
He's,
and all that shit. Oh my God.
He's a
a
different
specimen.
breed.
He is definitely a different breed. And it's going to be, the last 2 weeks in the NFL have just been fucking all kittywampus and just all over the place. Last week we had the fucking Bills-Jags, 5 fucking field goals in that game. Bills lose 9-6 against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Urban Meyer's. Yeah, right? Urban Meyer's first win in the U.S.
Makes you wonder. All this betting and stuff going on.
Like who's rigging the games maybe or something like that. Because how the fuck don't
refs
the Bills
hip
score?
checking players?
Checking
What's going on?
Yeah, that was bullshit. And they haven't talked anything about that. The NFL even came out and said, "Oh no, that was legal." Blah blah.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna have a solid game tonight. Expect the unexpected. Basically, I think that's the case, or has been the case for the last 2 weeks.
All season.
all season.
Expect the
Really
unexpected.
has been. I think the Dolphins could easily win this game, but they could also easily and more than likely get just shit on by the Baltimore Ravens because the
I
Ravens
hope
are
it's the
cleaned up.
latter so that we can figure out what's going on this season because I'm sick of this shocking games. It's like,
Yeah, and you're like, well,
well,
how?
who's good then?
Yeah, exactly. 'Cause even going through power rankings, it's like, well, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
how? Like, what do I do here? Like, with the Bills losing to Jags, it's like, I obviously have to move them down. Like, but how far? I mean, they just lost to one of the worst teams in the NFL. It's like, it's craziness, and it has been for basically the whole season.
Yeah, a lot of shit news too.
Yeah, a lot of shit news, and the Raiders are just in turmoil over there. But that is going to do it for the show today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Have a wonderful rest of your night. Go watch the Thursday night football matchup between the Baltimore Ravens and the Miami Dolphins, which starts at 7 or 7:20. Don't count on that. But have a great one, and you just got your fix with the Wicks. The bottom one.